Blog Talk Radio.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to our final show of the year in Cleveland. And we'll resume again on January 5th, 2021. That should be a barn burner as we're looking forward to what Peter Ray and the American Sports History Podcast brings to the realm of things, which is absolutely tremendous guests. Like tonight, Michael Boyd, the brother of Dennis Oil Can Boyd. Yours truly, Mark Mancini here, 347-205-9631. You can email mancinisports@yahoo.com. You catch the replay on blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports, powered by Mancini Media. Without further ado, as I give him the red carpet, as I lay out the podium, as I give him the mic too. Peter, first of all, how are you? Second of all, how can you be reached? Third of all, we got one heck of a guest tonight.
Hi, Mark. I'm doing very well. I have a YouTube channel. It's my name, Peter J. Ray, R-E-A. I have a website. It's called Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. I am a historian, and one of the parts of history I enjoy is the ancient Greeks who believed in excellence and pursuing achievement in various fields. As for every individual, that every individual should be an athlete, be a musician, pursue art, and so forth. Centuries later, they called these people like that were called a Renaissance man, someone who did that. And tonight we have a Renaissance man. There aren't too many of them around. Our guest tonight was a tremendous baseball player, and he set that aside, and then he's to pursue a tremendous career in music. Yeah, very inspiring career in music as a Grammy-eligible singer-songwriter, recipient of the music industry's Golden Halo Award, and in inspirational rhythm and blues music. So he's done a lot of. Sounds to me like done primarily a lot of had a musical career as a singer, and also got into some acting. But he's also pursued baseball over the years he got involved with women's baseball and some of these things called I'm trying to find it here baseball. He's the owner of Stand Still Baseball. Creator and owner of Stand Still Baseball, a different type of baseball. And anyway, and not only that, so an athlete, he's been an athlete and a tremendous musician, but also a very knowledgeable man and with some real life experience growing up in the Deep South. So anyway, it's a real honor and privilege to have on the show tonight, Mr. Mike Magic Boyd.
Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing, Pete?
Oh, I'm
Mark,
fine.
how you doing tonight?
Oh, I think he has muted himself. So, Mr. Boyd, can you talk? First of all, we only have a half an hour, and we can only scratch the surface on your amazing life and achievements and all the things you've done, and all the amazing, interesting things that you have to say. But let's first talk about baseball. A little bit about baseball, your playing career, and your association with baseball in these various areas: standstill baseball, women's baseball, and so forth.
Yeah. From hearing you talk, I'm going, who is that person? But going, please make him set up. But a little bit about my ball. It was like Mark had said. I'm from a baseball family, and that's all we did. My dad owned the last of the Negro League teams in Mississippi, basically Meridian, Mississippi, which was the Meridian White Sox. And my uncles all played on the team. They were all Negro League ball players. Coming up as a little boy, got lucky enough to have Satchel Paige and people like that when they came to town mentor us in baseball, my brothers and I. So you couldn't be more lucky than to have a man that in his 50s, I think 56, 57, was still competing in the major leagues and even winning championships. And so we were very proud of that. grew up to play, high school ball, my brothers and I, and where I was the pitcher or what we call the ace pitcher on the team. So for 2 years, I was the state championship pitcher and won 2 state championships there. And at the same time, brag a little bit, had a good time with it. And I pitched 16 games in high school and struck out 222 batters, threw 2 no-hitters and 6 shutouts in 16 games. And so the world would have known about me more in baseball along with my brother, along with my other brothers that over a period of time everybody will get to know about. But we all should have signed pro ball, but because of the negativities of the South at the time that we were growing up, that was really a far-fetched idea, meaning in Mississippi that the racism from really basically 1970 back to the 50s was a miserable time period to be living as black people and as black children in Mississippi. And so wasn't very happy in that time period. But we got into high school. Baseball became very people got to know about our baseball. And for my brothers to give a shout out, we were called the Boyd Boys. We would play other teams in baseball with 6 ball players, and we would beat those 9-man teams because we were so baseball crazy that to us nothing else really existed. We played baseball. We would play baseball as early as 5 o'clock in the morning, and we wouldn't come home to midnight. We would literally play all day. And that was our love for the game. It got me an opportunity to, right now I got, from what I could gather, nearly 300 scholarship offers from different colleges. Whether they were all legitimate, I can't tell you that. But from the exploits I went through, I was very touted very highly, and ended up eventually getting drafted to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I was a number 2 pick with the Dodgers, and from there went on to be a number 7 pick because I didn't sign with the Dodgers, a number 7 pick of the Oakland A's. And so from there with ball, for reasons that I don't want to discuss over the airways right now, that would affect also my family. I won't do it. But didn't get the shot the way that I wanted to get it or the way that it should have come. So I got into other things, got lucky enough, like you were talking, into music, and got lucky enough to get considered for a Grammy nomination on my album called Will You Listen for Best New Album, Best New Male Vocalist. Went on from there. I started to do a tribute to Sam Cooke because a lot of people started hollering, you sound so much like Sam Cooke. So I started to do a tribute to Sam Cooke to honor Sam Cooke, not an imitation, a tribute. And from there, ended up in Las Vegas and Laughlin, Nevada, the casinos of Los Angeles, California, and around the country, conventions and things like that, as well as shows that I produced and promoted with my company. The company is Singboy, Singboy, Singboy Records, and you can go to singboy.com. But started to produce them on those and just really enjoyed it so much that I've never stopped doing it. I actually do it to this day, other than COVID. COVID came in and stopped everybody, really. And from those things, I ended up, on shows like Days of Our Lives. I was in Brewster's Million, but that with Richard Pryor. But that was an extra part. But I managed, without knowing, to bump it into something larger, because I ended up singing the national anthem in the movie Brewster's Million, and broke my heart because they edited it out. The only lucky thing about it was I got paid for it. So, but I wanted to actually be able to sing it. that actually started my acting career, actually. And from there, I got back into baseball because acting, I loved it, but it wasn't who I was. I'm a baseball person, but baseball itself was not making me happy because of people don't know as fans and things like that really how ruthlessly pathetic a lot of baseball and our pro sports are handled. And so I went through a lot of hassles with people, especially on that racism side, and left me a little bit jaded about the way that I felt about the game of baseball, the people around baseball, even affected me down to making me see more in our country that the problems I was having in baseball were not baseball problems. They were a problem of this country with not being able to get along and not being able to respect each other as human beings and getting our egos massaged by thinking that we're better than somebody else because our skin color is a certain thing or because my daddy got more money than yours or all of this crap that we have been living here in the United States has ruined so many athletes' lives that I actually look at professional sports a lot of time as a joke, except for the exceptional ball player, the exceptional, not the Major League Baseball player. I know of myself, I could have wore these guys out, but so many other guys that I knew, knowing that the best of the baseball players and that everybody is calling the best, were not necessarily the best ball players. And people will tell you from around the country of the exploits of baseball players that never made the major leagues for an abundance of reasons. And so I look at our country and I look at what's going on in it as not true. Not true to what it says, not true to what it means, and don't mean to do anybody any good. And I'm sorry to say that, but if we look around at our country and see how badly we've treated each other, then I think people would recognize what I'm saying. From there, I got back into baseball. I decided, hey, some injustices, just like I was just saying, needed to be corrected and needed to be brought forward. So I looked around and I said, what's missing? And that's really what I learned from life, that the key to life is not what's in it, but what's missing that's not in it. And if we were to fix those things that separate what's in it from what's not in it, then we would be able to correct a lot of the wrongs that have been done in our society. So I decided to bring back women's professional baseball. And that went very well. I was very happy with it. And I hate to tell it, a lot of the guys, but a lot of these girls could outplay y'all easy out there, guys. Y'all going to be mad, but they can outplay you easy. But had two teams of women's professional ball that we brought forward. A lot of the girls, I don't know if people out there have heard of the Silver Bullets, the Coors baseball team of women ball players. But after we stopped with what we were doing with women ball at the time, a lot of the girls went on to, or a few of the girls went on to the Silver Bullets, which was a women's ball team that played men in baseball and former pro baseball players. They had all gotten that good to compete on that level. From the women's ball, and what I'm trying to find out, and I've thought about for a long time, because when I was doing women's professional baseball, the LA Times newspaper came out. I was doing batting practice to the girls, and they came out and they did an article, and the article said, "Coach pitches for a league of their own." And I think that's where they got the idea for the movie A League of Our Own. And so I was very happy with that. Some of our girls actually even, tried out for it. So doing that, once I had gotten that completed and stuff like that, I decided something else needed to be done. So I invented a new baseball game that's called Standstill Baseball. So for all the people out there who love baseball, check out this new game. Go to standstillbaseball.com. Standstill, like standing still. Standstillbaseball.com, and check out Standstill Baseball. It's a 1-hour baseball game that's played by 6 people, 6 on 6. You play half the field. And you can switch to the other side, but you got to call switch. The fastest pitch in the game, 70 miles an hour. And it turned out to be a godsend, and I'll tell you guys about it. But it was the fastest pitch, 70 miles an hour. And there's no base running, there's no base stealing, there's no bases on the field. It is the basics of baseball, hitting, pitching, fielding, and throwing. And it turned out to be so good that I developed the game to where men and women could play equally on the ball field. So that's why we set the pitching at a certain speed, and people were enjoying it so much that I hired the most of the players from the women's softball team that won the gold medal in the Olympics for us. I think they won them twice. And so I hired those women and taught some of them how to play standstill baseball. And they played a men's team that were college players, a few pros out there on the field, and they played them equally in, I think it was 2 games we played. And darn if the Olympic ball players, the women, darn near beat them in the baseball game. And so it put a certain amount of equality. Well, it actually brought out equality in the game that, yes, women can play pro ball. If the game that we have as men is made for big and strong and faster and this, but that's not that's baseball. I'm the creator of 30 philosophies called Base All. And in Base All says we can do anything we want. I won't go into the philosophies right now. But the women played, and they enjoyed it so much that now the plans are to professionalize standstill ball and get women on the ball field with the men. And there's so many combinations that can be done with ball now that hopefully all the people who are not playing Major League Ball or couldn't get on the college teams or all this now have a game that's much simpler to play, but that is just as entertaining, if not, a lot of people said they enjoy it more. I'm sorry. But we don't want to get rid of 9-man ball. There's nothing more beautiful. But there needs to be more baseball out there for our children and for people who'd like to play but can't because they're not big enough, fast enough, and these things. And so we want to put some equality in the game because this is the new world. This is the new America. This is called fair play. Everybody gets some. We're designing things for individuality, for singularity, but we preach universality. Well, that's hypocrisy. And so we have to ask ourselves, are we living the democracy in this country properly, or are we living hypocrisy in this country? And so we're living the hypocrisy of democracy, meaning that we're using democracy to benefit our individual selves rather than our universal selves. And until we see that we all belong and that there's room and there's a place for all of us, our job is not to look down on the person who can't, but help the person who can't be able to do. Make it where they can. Help them do it where they can. That's the American way, that we as Americans help each other out and not jump on each other, not pounce on each other. So this is why I started women's or brought back women's professional baseball and these things. And I encourage all the girls out there and all the mothers and fathers that are listening right now, get into standstill baseball. These are the players who are the greatest players and the biggest, fastest. They're going to go to the major league. That's what we want. But at the same time, we want people to feel, or I want people to fulfill their dreams. It's not important how far we hit the ball, but how much love we have for the game. And that game is the game of life, and that game is called baseball, not baseball. I'll be telling people more about baseball as we go along in different interviews and things like that, as people get to know me a little better. But for me, that's just a few of the things. I'm also a professional, baseball teacher. I've taught 3 of my students into the major leagues and stuff. And with my women ball players, as a matter of fact, I wanted to tell you guys, my business partner is Dan Steele. Before he died, he just died a couple of months ago from coronavirus, named Jay Johnstone, the former L.A. Dodger and former 20-year major leaguer. And just to talk about him for a second, you could not have met a sweeter man, a sweeter human being that just really cared about people. And if anybody knows anything about him out there, he was considered a prankster and a jokester. And what we call people jokesters in this are nothing but people who want to bring the joy that they feel inside. They want to put it inside of you. And so that's not a jokester. That's a lover of people. And this is what Jay was. And so we were doing projects together. And when he found out about standstill baseball, he just went absolutely crazy. And so the slogan of standstill baseball is you'll feel like a kid again. That's what it makes you feel like. And all the way to my dad at 75 would play standstill baseball. Other men and stuff were in my hometown and things were playing standstill baseball. And these are men who hadn't got up to play ball in 40 years, maybe 50 years, that said, hey, this is something I can do. And not to play pro, but to get out and get up and get exercise and be able to live longer and laugh again and enjoy again and talk about the old days is what they would do. So I feel so good to have been able to invent a game like this that will be such a joy to so many, and to bring back women's professional ball, because it never should win any player anywhere in the first place. Women like my mother could out-hit us. She spent a lot of her time teaching me and my brothers how to play ball because she loved it so much. My daddy would be mostly working. But these are the things that I've tried to do with my life, because I've based my life on the fact that you don't have to love me and stuff. I'm going to love you anyway, because the key to it is not how you feel about me. It's how you treat me. And it's not what negative thought I may have in my heart toward you. It's not my right to carry that bad feeling out that I feel. It's called, it ain't how you feel, it's how you deal. And so this is why I live my life the way it was, or the way it is. And when I leave this planet, I want people to be able to say about me that I cared enough not to care. I cared enough to do something about what I cared about. And all of us out there, it ain't enough to care. It ain't enough to just say, I feel bad. We are Americans. We are the creators of all this stuff in this country, and half the people of the world and are living off of our creations out there, if not most. Let's not quit that. Let's not stop that. But the first thing we need to do, if you're going to be a creator, the first thing it comes with is that you care enough to create something. And if you care enough to create something, why don't we create something that would be the best for mankind, to make people feel better, to make people want to wake up in the morning, to make them proud to be an American again. Not just we're out, 74 million people vote for this guy, 70 more for that. That's all good and fine. We all have a right to make a choice in what we want. What we don't have a right to do is neglect the fact that regardless of whether we feel different, we are still all Americans. And when it comes to the nitty-gritty, we stand up as Americans and we fight together as Americans because this is our home. And so we call this country America the Beautiful. We say America the Beautiful. Well, excuse me for a second, but shooting kids in the streets and beating people up and robbing and stealing and pushing drugs and human trafficking and all these things we've done, is this what we're calling beautiful? Is that the level that we've gone to, that the degradation, the misery, the horribleness of the way that we are treating each other, this is how we're going to live? This is our diagram for our future? Our children, we keep talking about, we want to leave them a great future. We want to leave them this. We want them to be proud of us. Well, ask yourself what you're doing for them to be proud of. We're leaving them a lousy legacy. We're leaving them racism. We're leaving them the fact that I don't care about your life. I'm not going to wear a mask. I care about my rights. Yes, we have a right not to wear a mask. But listen, everybody, we don't have a right to kill the other person. So your right might be and is dangerous because it has a negative connotation. That connotation is, excuse me, I don't care about your life. And if you don't care about the other person's life, why should they care about yours? This is America, y'all. It's time for us to make a decision out there. How are we going to live? How are we going to treat people? If we want to be treated right, then treat somebody right. And you'll see the positive deed or positive smile that they will come back to you with. We can no longer, as Americans, stand on top of each other. It is time for us to help each other up and help each other stand up. The only thing that is going to make our country better is when we start to invent a baseball game for women who desire to play and want to be a part. But we don't think about that. We just take it for granted. Our little girls that are coming up, their dreams that they want to live, we are obligated to clear the way that they will be able to live those dreams. If we care about their futures, then let's not talk about it. Let's do something about it. And so this is the way I live my life. I want to help people. I want people to learn how to help. And so I'm going to give everybody out there a word tonight that we all use. It's the word called help. We use that word every day. We're going to help. We're going to help. But we separate our help into a racist situation. We help black. We help white. We help who's got money. We help, all this. When the word help, H-E-L-P, Peter, means healing every living person. It didn't say discriminate. The letters say in the word, healing every living person. So if everybody out there want to help somebody, don't think of a singular connotation unless that is what's needed at the time. Live the universal conversation. Live the way that we all should live, that when we wake up in the morning, when we say help, we mean everyone. And so that's the way, Pete, I live my life. That's the way, everybody, I live my life. This is what I teach to my students of Base All. And it has no discrimination because I myself do not live my life as a black man. I live my life as a human being. God gave us our colors as a gift. Man has turned it into a curse. So it's time that we start to listen more to what the Almighty says about how we should live rather than listen to a man about how we should live. For man is struggling to live himself. I don't see God having that problem. And so it's time for us all to use wisdom, to use caring, to use kindness. It's time for us all to come at the word with grace, with style, form, and proper application to how we deal with one another. If we want our country back, recognize it is as simple as changing your mind about the negative things that are on your mind. Clear your mind, you will clear your heart. And start to look at people as if they were you. Would I want to be treated the way that I'm treating this other human being? And if I do, then I have to question my moral fiber, my moral character. This is where I come from, and before it's over, I'm gonna do some other things. That's the way I live. And right now, I've created something else that is very, very, just very, very important to the people staying at home. And do we have enough time to talk about it, Pete?
Sure.
Okay, just wanted to tell people about Dices, man, because people are home, with COVID and these things, and people are in quarantine, and let alone the people who are in, who are at home because they're invalids or, there's so many reasons that people are home. And so I didn't want to just write a song about COVID, about coronavirus. I wanted to make people happy at home because so many people were saying, I'm bored with being at home, I'm tired of being at home and all this. So everybody, write down this website address, and it's called Dices, DICES, Dices.fun. The game is designed to give you guys fun at home. We played all the games, checkers and dominoes and all this. Well, there's a new little game that takes about 4 or 5 minutes to play between 2 people, 4 people, and you can play it with even more. You can even actually play it yourself like a solitaire thing, but it's with dice. And so dices.fun. And it'll give you and your family and whoever you are living with in your home can sit down and actually just have fun. I had some people yesterday that bought it that they couldn't wait to come and tell me that their whole family immediately jumped into playing. So there's a game out there that's bringing joy and that's bringing happiness. And I love the game myself. It's called Dices. And what I love about the letters, my friend, is in a time period like this, a game has come along with a lesson where the letters say, do I see everybody the same? Time for us all to ask each other that question. Play Dices and put joy out there to everybody. Dices.fun.
Well, this has been an amazing, inspiring interview, and I think it's really tremendous how you've dealt with, life has setbacks, and I can't imagine what that would be like to have your, I didn't have baseball talent, so to have talent and then, but you've done so well because you moved on to other things, and what an incredible life you've lived. We're out of time. I wish we could talk more, but thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, Mr. Mike Magic Boyd.
Pete, thank you so much. Everybody out there, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. If it's okay, you guys follow me at Mike Magic Boyd, and you can pick up my music and everything. I have about 100, maybe 200 songs on iTunes and everything. Go to iTunes for Mike Magic, MAJIK, Mike Magic Boyd, and check out the music. Check out the tributes to Sam Cooke. And if there's anything else, Pete, I could do, you let me know, my friend.
I sure will. Wow, it's hard to know what to say. I'm speechless. Really, an incredible, what an inspiring life, and just amazing and beautiful. And I think this is the future. People like you is the future. The world, we certainly can do much better than we have. Our guest tonight has been Mike Magic Boyd, world-class entertainer, award-winning artist, songwriter, baseball legend, and actor, a real Renaissance man. Dear listener, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Good night, everybody. Thanks again, Mr. Boyd. God bless you.
Good night. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. All my love and respect. Merry Christmas out there. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.